Hi guys, so today we're going to be testing out the Urban Decay Naked Skin One and Done. I'm not going to call it foundation because it's apparently called a hybrid complexion perfector, but essentially they are foundations. Okay, so what does that mean? Essentially they claim that you don't need a primer, you don't need a moisturizer, that this is kind of a one and done. Get it? Get it? So yeah, you can kind of whack this in your travel bag and you can do without those products. I still use a primer and a moisturizer because that's just me, but obviously those products do also serve extra purposes, so I kind of always feel it's best to use them. But if I am staying overnight somewhere or traveling or something like that, then I certainly know that I can kind of skip those steps and I'm not going to feel really dry throughout the day, because it is actually really nice and hydrating on the skin. So these come in 6 shades, which obviously is very, very few shades, but they claim to cover the whole Urban Decay foundation shade spectrum within those 6 shades. So I have the shade Medium Light, which I used before I went on holiday and got more tanned. So this was claimed to cover the shades 3.5 to 4, and I would say that with my sort of NC 25 to 30 skin, this was slightly light for me then, but was absolutely workable. And I'm now using the Medium Dark, which they claim to cover the shades 6.5 to 8, and now that I'd say that is a perfect match for me currently, and my skin is now currently around like an NC 37 to 40, now that I'm more tanned. So yeah, that's kind of how the shades go. So light would cover shades 0.5 to 3.5, light medium 3.5 to 4, medium would be 4 to 6.5, medium dark 6.5 to 8, and dark 8 plus, I believe. There may be another shade in there that I've forgotten, but you get the idea. I would say that they generally lean fairly neutral to warm, the 2 shades that I have tried, so I guess that will help you with the undertones. But because it is a lighter coverage foundation, it is easier to sort of get a decent match for your skin tone than it would be if it was a full coverage, because then you kind of have to have a really perfect match. But you can definitely pull these off if you're slightly off in those shades. So you get 40 mils for your £28, which is 10 mils more than most foundations give you. The kind of standard foundation is 30 mil. This is 40 for £28, so a really, really good deal on a higher end product. Comes with a pump. Yes, a pump. Just got it all over my lips. That was silly. Don't make out with your foundation, guys. It's also an airless pump, which is my favour of life. Urban Decay are really good for doing those. It means that instead of sucking the foundation through like a little tube, it pushes it up, so you will get every last scrap of foundation out, which is amazing, amazing. Well done, Urban Decay. Well done on that. So yeah, it comes with SPF 20, so we shall see how that goes on flashback, things like that. So let's get on with shoving it on our faces. So as you can see, my kind of problem areas is I have this redness here, I have this hyperpigmentation, which I always get when I catch the sun, under my eyes, and I also have some in the centre of my forehead, and those are kind of the areas that I just want to tone down slightly day to day. So I'm just going to start off with like 1 pump on either side of my face, and as you can see, this is fairly runny. It's like moving there quite a lot, but it's not liquidy. I've already primed my face with my Stila One Step Correct, because that is a really good primer for just literally priming but not sort of affecting the performance or how a foundation looks, so it's ideal to put this to the test. I mean, that has literally gone in with no effort or skill or anything like that. That was really, really easy, and already you can see the difference between the 2 sides of my face. So I'm going to do my second pump on the other side, up onto that forehead, kind of focusing on those areas where I want the extra coverage. It's going on really, really nicely, really quick and easy. No issues blending this out with a sponge at all. I do much prefer this with a sponge, as I do most foundations, because I just feel like it gives a really nice even finish. But yeah, it's really sort of toned down all those areas like the redness and the pigmentation. It's not covered. It isn't by no means a full coverage foundation. This is very light to medium coverage. At the moment, I would say it's still very much a light sort of natural coverage. It's gone on really nicely all around the nose and like on my textured areas, which is around my mouth and my chin. It's definitely sort of evened that up a bit. Definitely dealt really well with my redness. Really like the colour match for me. And it's actually covering a lot better than I kind of thought it would with that pigment as well, because that is really quite dark on my forehead. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. I'm just going to go in with half of a pump to finish off just on those areas. And that has kind of covered that slightly. I definitely don't think it's really buildable, this foundation, because although it's slightly helped maybe a fraction more with that pigment on my forehead, it's certainly not covering it still. So it's definitely a light to medium foundation. The finish is really, really nice. It's very natural. It's not dewy, certainly not matte. It's kind of like a satin natural type finish. Feels like nothing, feels like there's nothing on my skin. It's got a slight tack to it, which means it hasn't kind of dried mega fast, but it's literally like as I'm speaking, it's drying down now. So let's see how it gets on with a transfer test. So I'm just gonna take a clean cotton wool pad and press it, and press it quite firmly onto the skin, see? Oh, it's stuck, that's not a good sign. Okay, there is a tiny bit of product on there. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see that on the camera, just around like the edges of it. But yeah, really not a big deal. And you know, I haven't given it that long to sort of dry or anything like that. So yeah, not bad at all. Looking at it on first impressions, it is settling into my smile lines, which is kind of the issue that I have with most foundations. So I guess that is going to be an issue if that's a kind of bugbear or a big problem for you. It's not emphasising anything on my head though. Certainly not emphasising texture around my chin. It's actually made that look a lot less, I feel. So yeah, I'm going to put the old flash to the test now and take a quick flash photo and see what the bounce back is like and if there's any white cast. Let's have a look at that now. So actually nowhere near as bad as I was thinking. As it's got SPF 20, it's quite high SPF, so I was kind of thinking, oh, it's going to be like a Estee Lauder or a MAC Studio Fix kind of level of white cast, which is like quite a bad white cast on the scale, but that was really absolutely not an issue for me. It may be a slight hint of a white cast, but definitely not anything dramatic. So that's really good. Nice surprise. So yeah, I'm just gonna go and do the rest of my makeup now, see how it gets on with those products, and then I'll be right back. So this is the rest of my makeup on. Didn't have any issues whatsoever. Everything went really nicely on top. I really love the finish. I would definitely say it is a kind of natural finish. No issues, like I said, with my powders going on top. No issues with it moving. It's definitely dried down now. Doesn't feel tacky to touch or anything like that. Did really well with the transfer test. Absolutely nothing on the paper. And the flashback, really not as bad as you would think for that SPF 20. Just a real slight lightness on the face. But really not that bad. I've definitely seen worse. So let's give this the usual 8 hours. It is now approaching 12 o'clock, so I'll come back after 8 p.m. and we'll see how it has got on. See you then. Bye for now. We're back. So it is now about 8:30 at night, so I've had this foundation on 8.5 hours roughly. I've had a fairly busy day. I've been filming, I've been editing, I've been running around. Haven't done anything too intense. It's Actually quite a cold day here today, so I haven't sort of tested humidity or anything like that. It's just been kind of a standard day for me. So let's just have a look at this foundation and see how it has got on. So it's definitely like in my smile lines, not even gonna say a little, it is like fully in. Let's see if I can just zoom you in. You can actually see, I think, that how far, you know, it is properly settled into those smile lines. Other than that, fading wise, it's hung in there pretty good. I don't really feel like I look, you know, oily or anything like that. My forehead looks pretty good. I don't have a oily skin type, so I wouldn't necessarily expect to see that unless the foundation was actually making me oily. It's held up pretty well. I'd say, as usual, like most of my foundations, I'm seeing the first signs of fading down here. I don't think this foundation kind of claims to be mega long wearing. So yeah, I guess I like the way it wears. So it hasn't gone patchy, it hasn't gone cakey, it hasn't done anything weird like separated on the skin, but it is fading, which is the best way for a foundation to go when it goes. So it's certainly not the most long wearing foundations. I wouldn't recommend it if, you know, you wanted a 10 or more hour wear, but yeah, you don't have to worry about it going like crazy by the end of the day if you're going to kind of wear it, you know, for 8 or 9 hours. It is fading is the best way I can describe it. But yeah, I'd say other than my smile lines, it hasn't kind of accentuated any texture. It hasn't made my skin go oily. It feels very comfortable. It feels like there's nothing on my skin still. And like I said, the main thing about this foundation is it is just very, very natural looking. It looks like you could have definitely nothing on your skin. So if that's what you're looking for, I'd really recommend it. I really enjoy it for like everyday wear, and as I said, it's really easy going as far as colour matching and things like that. So yeah, I'd love to hear what you think of it and whether you like it, or if you're interested in buying it, if you've used it before and how you got on, especially if you are oily or very dry. I'd love to know how those different skin types to mine get on with this foundation. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe because I'd love to see you in a future video. So take care for now. Bye 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 bye.